you're not in a hurry, you're here to see the sights and feel the wind. It's a beautiful day, and a bike like this accentuates that. Hey, Dylan from Throttle Company. I'm here again for another episode of In the Loop. We are at the shop, Vintage Motorcycles, Royal Enfield. You can see we're open today. It's a Wednesday, and we have these are our demo bikes ready for test rides. But I'm going to be riding something a little older, but it looks a lot older. So this is 2009 Royal Enfield, of course, Bullet. There's probably some model number that this is, but I don't know it. To me, this is just, we would call this an iron barrel Bullet. So this is still carbureted, even though it's a 2009. This is sort of the older generation of Bullets, and nothing has really changed since these came out in the 50s. So Royal Enfield was a British company. They introduced the Bullet, and it's a 500cc single in the 50s. They were made in England and they were made in India. This one was made in India for sure by 2009. They had shut down production in England in 1970. So this is it does have electric start, but it also has kick. It's shift on the left, so it's kind of the modern controls that you're used to, but carbureted still. And like I had said, there very few changes since the 50s. So this is the most fun thing about this bike. This is a customer's bike, but while it's been in the shop, people come in and they say, wow, how old is this? And I'm like, oh, guess. And they say, I don't know, 55, 60s. And I'm like, 2009. And the thing that really gives it away, the lights, they look a little more modern. The switches look very modern. So other than that, you got this brass cover here. It's dual drum brakes. So this customer was in for some brake stuff, carburetor, basic overall tune-up. We'll talk about it when we get on the road a little bit more, but here's how you start this. So key on and make sure that the kill switch is on. We're going to do kick. It has electric start, like I said, but we're going to do kick because it's cool. Okay, so decompress. It's this lever. Decompress a little bit. I guess I should probably have put the choke on this carburetor. I'm going to give it a little throttle and kick it through. See if we can take the choke off there. And it just takes us, like any carbureted bike, it just takes a second to warm up. But this thing is running great overall. You get that kind of signature sound. In India, they call this the Dug Dug. D-U-G, D-U-G. Okay, I'm knocking off the center stand. And we're off. So I helped out with this bike, but I didn't do the majority of the work. The majority of the work was done by one of our mechanics. His name is Aniket, and it sounds like I'm going to be exaggerating when I say this, but I'm not. He is internationally known for working on bikes like this, but the Bullet is his specialty. He's famous for making his own motorcycle called the Musket, out of two bullets. So you take two top ends, you take a Bullet like a donor bike, like this, exactly like this, the iron barrel stuff, and he makes his own, designed and makes his own bottom end, and makes like a 1000cc out of two 500s or a 750 out of 350s. And he rides it every day. He rides it to the shop. That's like his daily driver, which is crazy. It's a real testament to how well thought out and well sorted out it is. But he loves these bikes. He loved this one, so he did a lot of the work on it. He helped me set up the brakes and tune the carburetor, and we did the timing and stuff, so I'm confident that this thing is running great. And he rode it for a little test drive last night and signed off on it. Says everything is great, you're gonna love it. He said that this is one of the better running Bullets that he's had, so, or has ridden, so he would know. But look him up. I'm sure I'll do some YouTube magic and put up something about how to see his videos or something. He's been on Jay Leno's Garage. That's probably the easiest one to see his work. But anyway, back to this Bullet specifically. Obviously, it's got kind of a military theme. That was a big thing, and I think that leads a lot of people to guess sort of 50s, you know, where they would have used a bike like this in the military. You know, 50s, 60s, that kind of thing, like Vietnam era or something, or obviously in India, they would have used these in the military. But 2009, so it's a bit tricky. But it definitely rides like a vintage bike. That's what's kind of fun about this bike. It's a very fun bike, you know, because it's very classic, like a vintage bike. It's not fast, it's not sporty, but you have this very upright riding position, and it's simple, and you kind of forget you don't pay attention to everything, you just kind of pay attention to the ride. So it is definitely where this bike excels. Is it's okay, I mean, it's fine in like city traffic and stuff, for sure, but it's not a highway bike. Well, where it excels is kind of back roads. You want to be somewhere where there's no cars behind me, there's no one trying to pass me, I'm just out by myself on a country road ride. Perfect. Any Bullet, any of even the 535 GTs, which are basically based on the next generation of this bike, those are perfect for that. That's where they're really at home. But it's got enough speed, it's got enough power. It's fun. It's enough to make it fun. This feels, it's funny, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but it's kind of like cosplaying. It's like, well, I want an old bike. I want it to look like an old bike, but I don't want it to be an old bike. So this is kind of straddling the line there and saying like, well, it's an old design. Everything works the way it would in the 50s, mostly. They obviously added electric start at some point, but it's fun. It's hard to explain, but it's like, I don't know, just playing pretend or whatever. Like, here I am riding this bike. It's like it was in the 50s or the 60s, and I'm on the modern roads, but I can kind of, it's like a time machine transporting me back in time. A simpler time for sure. But these bikes are fun. They don't make them anymore. They stopped making Bullets at all in 2020. Basically, they've sort of been replaced by the Meteor, at least in America. They make a 350 version in India. But the nice thing about these bikes is there's a lot of knowledge out there. They made this basically the same bike for 50 years. So you can find parts for it. If you have a problem with it, there are people out there like Aniket or people at our shop who can fix it. You know, you could Google this stuff, and there are people who have owned 50 of these things, you know. So, and they've made them in India for 50 years. So a lot of the guys in India know these bikes backwards and forwards. They are just a good kind of tinkerer's bike to get into. You can go down the rabbit hole of finding all this stuff on Facebook and YouTube and just learning everything there is to know. Another one is Paul Henshaw. If you see his videos, maybe I'll put one of his up there, but he goes over the list of all the different Indian and British Bullets that he's had, and he works on this kind of stuff. Okay. But country roads, which look kind of like this road that we're on right now, just perfect for this thing. You just feel like you're not in a hurry. You're here to see the sights and feel the wind. It's a beautiful day, and a bike like this accentuates that. It absolutely gets out of the way and lets you fully experience the weather, the joys of motorcycling. This is one of the things I didn't really think about. I've been riding a motorcycle for a couple of years, and one of my friends picked it up. A couple of my friends picked it up, actually, and they were telling me, oh, the thing I never heard about was the smells. You could smell everything. I was like, I never even thought about that, but it's absolutely true. Sometimes for the worse, you go by a pig farm or something, or the landfill, and you get some negative smells, but most time you're smelling this cut grass or kind of a stereotype, fresh cut grass or corn in Ohio. You know, you go through a cornfield, and in the evening you drive by and you get that smell. It's just kind of this unforgettable smell. A motorcycle like this is great because it's just so simple, it's so easy to ride. This one, once it's running well, it just runs great, and it's just there, reliable, consistent for you, and you can enjoy not worrying about it, not thinking about it, just flowing along, taking the turns. Everything works. It doesn't work exceptionally well. It doesn't have the height of technology. It doesn't have ABS. It doesn't have fuel injection. It doesn't have any rider aids. It doesn't even have a tack. So all we care about is how fast we're going. We don't even know what gear we're in. We don't care. It's just putt along, make your single noises, dug, 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 and enjoy the ride. But you can still find bikes like this. It's a little harder in America, and it's definitely harder in America to find good ones. Be willing to pay almost up to $4,000. You know, I saw one at a recent event, swap meet, for $3,000, but it was a good deal, and I kind of am kicking myself for not buying it. But all the way up to $4,000, they stopped making them, and that makes it more of a collector's item. People were just expecting to buy these forever. And that generation is over. They cannot meet emission standards under the current design, so they discontinued it. I think they're going to revisit it. I'm sure they have plans, but these days, if you want something like that, it's that brand new Meteor that had come out that I have also done a video on, but that's a 350. So honestly, the power is very, very similar. This is a very antiquated 500, and a modern 350 winds up having very, very close design, or close power with that modern design and the new transmission and everything. It's they're very on par with each other. So also easy bikes to ride. This has a little bit more mid controls. The modern Meteor is a little more forward, but not by much, just a couple inches forward. But you can see me taking these turns. You see me taking the turn the whole time. I'm not even concerned about them. I just float across the turns. The steering on this is fantastic. When you're moving it around the garage, you appreciate the steering on a bike like this, because the steering, I don't know, lock to lock, how much it can move is just amazing. And so you can just maneuver it so easily in the garage or whatever. But the bike like this, like I said, cruising around, so fun, so easy, so simple, very simple. It's a single, it just putts along, it just keeps going. But also, you are going to be the star of bike night. You show up on this bike, it will draw a crowd, that's for sure. And everybody wants to know, what year is it? When did you get it? You know, where did you get it from, and how do you work on it, and all this stuff. They just want to know every question there is. And that's cool. If that's what you're into, that's the thing. I know online people had said, don't buy a Royal Enfield if you don't want to talk to people at the gas station, because that is gonna happen for sure. But it's a little bit of history on Royal Enfield. I love doing that stuff because obviously we're a new Royal Enfield dealer and we have vintage bikes, so anytime you can get a more vintage, even though this is only 2009, it definitely has the feel of a vintage bike. But I love showing that kind of stuff off. Hey, here's something I worked on personally, the kill switch. So thank you very much for watching this. My in-loop videos, that's the kind of thing I try to show you, is what's it like to ride a bike like this if you haven't done it before or whatever. I try to get that information across and show you what it's like. And this is fun, simple, easy motorcycling. And we'll see you next time.